So we've got a Honda CB600F. I've been to this one many years ago, so it's got my old receipt here. This is the last time I was here, so 2018. It had 24,000 miles on it. And it's only done, 2,000 miles roughly. So the problem is a misfire. We've already started it and it's on cylinder number 2. Now, on my receipt from back then, I did actually change the spark plugs, and the customer said that it had this issue when I came last time, a slight misfire, and then when I was finished, it went away. So we might be along the same sort of lines today, really. So for this job, it's just a diagnosis, so there's no servicing or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here. Sorry about the lack of light, I haven't brought my torch. I'm going to crack one of these drain screws on the carb. I'm going to crack number 2, because that's the one we've got the misfire on. Might have to switch hands because I can't quite... Oh, there we go, I've done it. And we'll just see, yeah, we've got fuel pouring out there. If you can't see it, take my word for it. Plenty of fuel coming out. So that could indicate that the fuel level is too high on this carb, and it's causing it to be too rich in the cylinder and not burning properly. Or the spark plug's gone, or the plug cap's gone, or the ignition HT lead's gone. So we've got to run through the options. So I'm going to let that drain out completely, and we'll fire the bike up again, and we'll see if that cylinder comes back to life, because too much fuel in that cylinder will cause the spark plug to not fire properly. So let's start it up. Give it a few seconds to... It's still cold, this bike, and the choke cable doesn't stick on, which is great. Need to tighten this up, really. Right, I'll just stick you over there while I try and get this started. So it's sounding a little bit better. On choke, of course. So I'm just feeling the header pipes. Number 2 is still cold, so I'm going to get it started again. Not doing too well today, so the customer started it on his own. I can't get it started, and now the battery's gone flat. So just get this cover off in case we need to do anything with the battery. Take the seat off. Right, that battery's in the wrong way around, but never mind. So we've only drained the carb out on that cylinder. Another try. No. So I've got a battery hooked up now. Let's see if we can get it started. It's got to be something else. Right. Pull the choke out. So I'll just run through. So we did actually have it started earlier. The customer had it started. So I'm having difficulty starting it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain out all the carbs so that they're all drained out, and then we're going to try and start it again with full choke, and hopefully the cylinders will get rid of any excess fuel and it should start up, hopefully. If not, then we'll have to check the ignition, I think, because it's not firing. It doesn't sound like it's firing on more than 2 cylinders at the moment. So I'll get these cylinders all drained out now, because it's an automatic tap on these, so you need to crank it for a little bit for the cylinder, for the carb to fill up. So I'll just get these opened up, drained out. Right, that's all the carbs drained now. So we'll hop on it. We'll just get rid of these petrol soaked cloths outside. Get the air filter off and have a quick look in there. Yeah, air filter looks fine. Right, so we're just going to put a little bit of brake cleaner in here just to see if this engine will start and run. It is a bit tricky that I've got a choke that I can't hold open, but squirt some brake cleaner in there. Let's see if it'll start. So we'll just give it a few cranks. Sort of sounds like it likes that. Try a bit more. Okay, so it's running on that brake cleaner. Not sure whether. Right, so I have to squirt up over. Right, let's see if we can get it started. And now, because it started, I'm going to hold the choke open and I'm going to crank it again with the throttle closed. So the only way I'm getting it to start and run here is with the throttle pretty much open, choke on and brake cleaner. This is a bit crude, I'll admit this is a bit crude doing this, but I'm just trying to establish if it's something to do with the ignition system or something to do with the carbs. So I think it's got to be the carbs at this stage. Yeah, just the way it's not responding to throttle. Yeah. So I think it's something to do with the fuel side. So the fuel in the tank or the fuel in the carbs, there's something not quite right there. So I think ultimately these carbs are going to have to come off, but it may be worth just checking the spark plugs and then we can rule that out. You know, the spark plugs are easy to do, the carbs not so easy to do. So let's do the spark plugs first, and if we've got more than one spark plug that's bad, I'll put a new set in and see if that clears it up. Right, so a couple of things. Before, when I was cranking it, I had it on pretty much full throttle and it was sort of running, you know, roughly. It was actually running on number 3 alone, so it was actually running on one cylinder. So if we come over to the spark plugs, they all look pretty much this sort of similar sort of appearance. Number 3 actually looks the driest out of the lot. The other 3 are all quite wet still, so that's probably just petrol. So I'll just give you a couple of tips if you want to take the plugs out of these bikes. You can do it by getting your arm in here and putting sockets down. The 2 on the left are easy. These 2 are a little bit tricky because of the cross member. There's not much access to get your hand in there, and there's also your radiator hose. If you take the ignition coil off, there's 2 bolts, and then you can get straight down on number 3, number 4 quite easily. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put in some new plugs and then see if it runs, and see if it runs acceptably. If it doesn't run very well, I'm going to put the tank on as well so it can run up to decent temperature, make sure it's all running properly. If it doesn't run very well, the carbs are going to have to come off then, because we've sort of eliminated the ignition side of it. Sometimes I like to test the HT leads and the coils and everything, but do I do that? I might just throw the plugs in first and see if it starts running on all 4 cylinders. It kind of makes the test a bit of a waste of time really. If it doesn't run on all 4 cylinders, then I'll do an ignition coil test and everything and show you how to do that. Right, so I've got the new plugs in. That's what you want to be fitting on Hondas. And then for the HT leads, as you can see, I haven't marked them or anything, but because they're the original HT leads, all the HT ignition wires have got numbers on, so you just have to find that. So there's one. It's got number 1 written on it. So they'll all have the numbers on the HT wire. So you don't need to worry about marking them. And then the ignition coil wires, so on a lot of Hondas they have a green, that's the positive terminal, and a black, that's the negative. And if you're not sure which colour, is positive, it's normally the coloured wire. So in this case, the yellow wire positive, black negative, blue positive. Right, I'll get these plug caps back on. So you just want to be sure to plug up the vacuum lines. So we'll see if it'll start now. So no choke, just whatever fuel's left in the carbs, it's actually started up. That's hot, that's warm, that's hot, that's hot, that's really hot, that's really hot, that's hot, that's hot. So I'm going to put the tank back on now. I think that might be fixed. Yeah, it sounds a lot better straight away, so there's the tank back on. So I've just done it temporarily. Well, that's a good sign. It's responding quite well considering it's cold. Take my battery off, so we're charging his battery. Might run a little bit better with the air filter in, so I'll just quickly put that back together. Right, the air filter in, what does it sound like now? That's better, I think. There's a little bit of a delay, but it's still warming up. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think I'll put it back together. I've got to put the ignition coils back in position. But I think that's it. That's fixed. Right, that's the bike back together now. So in the end, it just turned out to be some dodgy spark plugs that someone fitted many years ago. Only joking. I mean, the trouble is with bikes that have gone a long time with little use, spark plugs, they can foul up and they can run poorly. So I'm just quite pleased that this bike has gone that length of time without needing any carb work, really. So testament to Honda, their carbs and the filtration system in the tank and everything combined. The rubber hoses have stood the test of time, really. You know, it's gone 2,000 miles in 7 years. engine sounds lovely. Unfortunately, the owner has decided to part ways with it. It's just a little bit too heavy for him, so he'll be looking to get something a little bit lighter. But yeah, these bikes you can't really go wrong with, to be honest. Anyway, catch you on the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.